Look, I don't want to get into this back and forth Ife empire and cradle of civilization crap. Honestly, I don't wake up looking to argue with people who are either too far gone in bias or too proud to engage with facts. I don't waste breath engaging with people who confuse ignorance for pride. No, but sometimes silence feels like betrayal. Sometimes we have to speak, not because I want to convince you, but to remind those who might forget who we are, so our own people don't grow up swallowing lies dressed up as history.
Read my lips. Ekaladeran, the son of the last Ogiso Owodo, never went to Ile-Ife. His son, Omononya, or Oromiyan, if you like, never came from Ile-Ife to Benin. Ile-Ife was not even in existence at this period. And this elevated platform is said to have been in the Niger-Benue confluence, around the Niger-Benue confluence. This place is known to the Edo people as Uhe. Now, the ambassador from Benin to Portugal as at that time, yes, as at 15th century, Benin already had an embassy in Portugal as a country. Benin as a country, Benin Empire already had an embassy in Portugal. So the ambassador from Benin to Portugal, that is the person of Onku of Ugoton, mentioned this Uhe and the Ogenenue to the king of Portugal at that time. That is to show how important, how relevant Uhe, though it was small, it was not big, but we saw it as a spiritual home. So it was mentioned to the king of Portugal and it was written in a history book. Where was Ile-Ife? You will never find any history book before the 18th century where they mention Ile-Ife.
Just pay attention, okay? You're gonna thank me later. You're gonna thank me some days. Just pay attention.
It is very simple. What I'm saying is, with evidence, you see this Ile-Ife and the Ooni of Ife, they are not older. They are not older than the 18th century. So if they are not older than the 18th century, how come they are claiming that the whole world came from them? 18th century here, that is 17 something. You see the list of Ooni that you see online, especially on the website of the Ooni, they are fake, which is why you will not see dates. There are no dates. There are no dates. From the beginning till, I think, was the first one they dated, that's even in the 18th century. There are no dates because they did not exist. Those people never existed.
Listen, scholarship isn't a buffet where you snatch the jollof rice and pretend the bitter leaf soup doesn't exist. No. In fact, this is worse. It's like plucking one grain of pepper from a full pot of soup, then screaming, "This proves the soup is spicy," while ignoring the gallons of tasteless broth drowning it. And let me make something clear moving forward. I do not need to provide new evidence to debunk your historical gymnastics.
It is on record. I'm not the one saying this. That is the position of the Ooni, and he was never a king. He was just a priest. He was just a priest. He had problem with the people of Ile-Ife. They rejected him. So when in history was Ile-Ife ever important or powerful? When I made and posted my last video about Ile-Ife, talking about Ile-Ife as a fraud, as a sham, as a village, or should I say priestdom, that was created by the British colonial government, I was actually expecting the worst. I was expecting the worst. But laughably enough, the worst these Ife-centric retards could do is to start reporting my page.
And for context, this is not about Benin and Yoruba or Benin or Yoruba. No, This is about the misrepresentation of African heritage in global academia. So please put your sentiments and prejudice aside and keep scrolling if the Eurocentric indifference to the accurate documentation of African history does not interest you. Please just move on if saga is what you want. Please, everything is not about you. Okay? So where was I?
Even when the British imposed this Ooni on them, after they accepted, the Ooni was just like an action figure. Ooni was and still is an action figure until yesterday. See, 26 years before the history of Yorubas was written, a Yoruba writer warned us that the present Ife should not be mistaken for the original one. 64 years before, 64 good years before, an American writer wrote, and I quote, "According to one tradition of the Yorubas, their ancestors, and in fact the original parents of the whole human race, were created at Ife, which still exists in the east of the Yoruba kingdom. They told Landa and have told me that Ife, where men were created, is several months' journey distant, and sometimes they speak of it as standing on the sea." As standing on the sea. You see, this writer, this American writer, is describing the real Ife as accounted. He got this account from Yoruba people. They are saying that the real Ife they know, not this one that's from where he was writing. The real Ife they knew was far away from this very one. And they describe it as if it is standing on the sea, Niger-Benue confluence. This time,
My regular kind of content, as you know, is to address a specific set of self-acclaimed Yoruba professors, some set of paranoid Yoruba ne'er-do-wells who are dead from the neck up and haunted by demons and delusions. Now, these professors, who in a bid to claim tribe supremacy are tearing away the skin of the onion of the purported Yoruba civility. Now, this video is to debunk your cheap lies and expose you and your agents to Wikipedia. Now, one of the reasons I don't do saga is because all these faceless TikTok users may be as mentally ill and intellectually impaired as the ones, some of them with faces, who only come online to disgorge inanity. And I don't want to stoop that low to fight with pigs in the mud. So this is not a saga video, but
that is the position of the Ooni, and he was never a king. He was just a priest. He was just a priest. Before you started rejecting Oduduwa, we asked you, what is Oduduwa in Kootu or Ile-Ife language? Till today, you cannot tell us. At some point, you started to analyze it. You said the morphological form is Odu to the Iwa. Shame on you. Shame on you. What is the meaning of Uwa? Let's leave Odudu. The Uwa. What is the meaning of Uwa in your language, in your Kootu language? Give me other words that have that word or that morpheme Uwa in your language. You don't have. So you don't know this person, the so-called Oduduwa. You don't know him, not by name. Where did he come from? You don't know. At some point you say he fell from the sky. He climbed down with chain from the sky. At some point you say he came with from Mecca. His father was Lamurodu. So Lamurodu was someone from Mecca. So the word Lamurodu is the language of Mecca. It's not Arabic or Arab that they speak in Mecca. So the word Lamurodu is an Arabic name or Arab. At some point you say it came from Okeora. Come on. So you don't know the meaning of this person's name. You have it has no bearing with your language. You don't know where it comes from, or rather came from. Somehow you are claiming Oduduwa because you know that is the linkage between the real Ife, that is where the Edo people know as well, the real Ife that they duplicated for you. You know that is the link between Edo people, Ife, and Oyo people. So to win us, You have to claim Oduduwa that you know absolutely nothing about. Shame on you.
Now, there are attempts to interpolate inaccurate information about Ife into historical records, such as editing Wikipedia pages to assert their unverified claims, are not only academically dishonest, but also culturally harmful. Now, let me show you what these guys have been doing to your history. Just pay attention, okay? You're gonna thank me later. You're gonna thank me some days. Just pay attention. If not, you may wake up one day and realize you are no longer you, or that the name of your village has been changed and it's now called Akoba Adaba Oloruma Jari village on Wikipedia.
So that you compare the Ooni of Ife with a whole Alafin of Oyo. A whole Alafin of Oyo. People who gave you what you have as a Yoruba people. People who earned you the respect that.
Recently there have been some gbas between some Yoruba and Edo people concerning our shared history, which I find fascinating. I mean, it's fine, right? History is not static. It could be debated, and with new evidence, it could be corrected, right? Hence, William Faulkner said, the past is never dead. It's not even past. And John Acton said,